So now that Indian has released the FTR 1200, so we all know what it looks like, there's a few things that I'm wondering why. This guy wants a race or something. Jesus, go through the light. Watch, he's slow. Yeah, it's fun to mess around sometimes. I bet you he wasn't expecting that. So where was I? Indian revealed the FTR 1200, and there's a few things I wonder why. So some people wonder why they released a bike like that when they've only done cruisers in the past, except for some stuff in the 50s that really wasn't in Indian. And I think once they decided to get back into flat track racing and seeing how good they did and the response people had to Indian and their FTR 750 race bike, Indian realized that they could actually sell a flat track inspired motorcycle. And it appears these days a lot of new riders, and especially younger riders, prefer something like the bobber, like I have. Triumph makes a bobber, and that, or like something like the Ducati Scramblers. They have a cafe racing version of that, and they sort of like bikes that have a little bit of style besides the sport bikes and some cruisers. So Indian, I think that's why they did it. They realized they could expand their market. So there was a bunch of leaked spy photos and patents for the FTR before it actually came out, and there were some things on there people were questioning. Well, so once they revealed the FTR 1200, you can see that it is a departure from the FTR 750 race bike, and it actually seems to have gained a little weight and size to it and a slightly different look. So it sort of does look like to me, it looks sort of like a Ducati Scrambler, which is not a bad thing. It just doesn't quite look like the race bike. So since it would be too hard to sell a $50,000 flat track bike, they had to make compromises to be able to mass produce it and to also meet the EPA and EU regulations for a street bike. So for me, the FTR doesn't quite look like the race bike, but it does have some good qualities. I do like the shape of the tank and the seat area. I don't like the mirrors, but I'm not one to keep stock mirrors for too long, so that's just me. And they do have the battery in the right behind the front wheel with the voltage regulator, which to me looks a little bit stuck on. But seeing that the gas tank is probably taking the space under the seat, that where a battery normally would be, they had to make compromises on that. So it does seem to be a bit on the heavy side, probably about 60 to 90 pounds, depending on what you compare it to. But it does seem to have a good amount of power to compensate for that. And if they've designed the bike right with a lower center of gravity and good handling, it really won't matter.